Okay, we are live. Believe I've set everything up properly. Can everybody hear me okay? I see Nick is in the chat. Can you hear me okay, Nick? Cool. Very cool. All right. And really excited about this week because we're going to get to introduce some really cool stuff. I know I say that every week, but I love this game. What can I say? Let's get started. So we'll be getting through 3 levels today: Under Traffic, Telepath Tower, and Mount Chug-Chug. Oh, hey, Claire. Glad to see you. It's the first time you've gotten to see the title screen for Wildlands 2. It's a good one. Let's see. Before we set out, we'll go ahead and make sure our characters are properly equipped and everything. I think I took care of the crests. Okay. I do have one more crest that I can use now. Don't think it's super urgent, but I'll get it out of the way because we're in the town already. Vortex. So last time, we were told that this underground passage had been blocked off and was harming people's ability to make it through and conduct trade. You know, pretty typical, like, helping people out mission. Robert, you already here? It's super early, but why not? Let's show off Robert. Hi, Robert. You want to say meow? No. He just wants me to let him out. I will be right back. Or put him on the bed. You just want to be on the bed, Robert? Okay. Alright. He'll just be on the bed, I guess. I'll probably have to let him out later, though. This is the first little bit of like tool interactivity in this game. You're going to see the characters' skills playing off of each other. Brad can kick these boxes into place, and then Loka can blow them up. They keep poisoning us. I always forget to stock up on poison. I mean on antidote. Of course, they also drop antidotes pretty frequently, so. Probably if they didn't drop it so frequently, I would have gotten better at stocking up by now. Alright, so that's a new arm for Ashley. One of the little oddities of this game, thing that really doesn't make sense, is Ashley and Brad both get new arms. In order for Ashley to be able to use them, you have to go into the menu and select them. That's not the case for Brad. Don't really know why. So we can make use of this. I was going to say make use of this to open a secret passageway. Not passageway, just a room, really. There we go. The Moonstone makes you immune to poison. We'll go ahead and give that to Ashley. That'll come in handy later. And then here's a clever trick. It starts essentially the same puzzle as the last room. But the first thing you can do being to use these blocks to get through here, get the item. Ugh, gobs. Gobs and gobs. Uh, 48, yeah, okay. That's an interesting one because you can always tell how much damage the character is going to take, or rather how much health they're going to have left. Gobs and gobs simply sets the target's health equal to that goblin's current health. Anyway, the map scope lets you see where you are in the overworld map. But what I like about this room is that it's reusing the same blocks to build a bridge to get over. You can see using the same elements to create something new. There's a lot of really good fundamentals for puzzle design in this game, which I appreciate. Anyway, this level's pretty short and there's no boss. That was basically it. I didn't even bother to save because we're about to hit a town anyway. I think the point of that save point is just to make you think there's a boss coming, but there's not. Or maybe they meant to put one in and they ran out of time or something, I don't know. So this man has collapsed. Irving's using the communicator tracer. Southeast of Damson, a new town. He's so fluffy. I love this very classical Wild West town. What is this thing has? There we go. Next time I hope I get a patient I can get more excited about treating. Oh, this poor guy. Kate and Amy. I love those two. Okay. So, as the guy they rescued made clear, the under traffic cave-in might have been intentional. So this is where we start to get wrapped up in the broader story that they're going to be building here. We're going to see a lot more of that. And also we're going to get to explore more of the themes of this game, particularly in Mount Chug-Chug. The folks in this building are caretakers of the Telepath Tower. So, on our way to Telepath Tower, which is how... It's a broadcast tower that uses Empathite to allow people to communicate. And we suspect that there's a criminal group that's trying to break into it. Let's see what's going on in Telepath Tower. Yeah, it's very nice. Very nice music. I feel like, am I doing a bad job of like explaining what's going on, recapping people? I know that most people don't know this game's plot as well as I do, but I also don't think the details particularly matter because I'm more concerned about like exploring themes. And admittedly, a lot of the stuff we've seen so far today has just been like laying the groundwork for future story stuff, which is why I've been relatively quiet. There's not a whole lot to analyze thematically about under traffic, but Telepath Tower and later Mount Chug-Chug will have a lot more interesting stuff to talk about. I didn't actually realize until just now that they actually mention Empathite before you get to Mount Chug-Chug, although it makes sense in retrospect. For some reason I always think of Mount Chug-Chug as the introduction of the concept of Empathite, which is going to be kind of big to how I read it, even though it's not overall that important to the story. It's kind of a minor point. Basically, Empathite is a material that has the power to transmit thoughts. It allows people to connect psychically / emotionally over a long distance. It's the material of which the communicators that we can use to talk to the chateau remotely are made. That's a Robert. Okay. I will let him out this time. This should be the last interruption. I apologize for how squeaky my chair is, by the way. Very squeaky chair, I know. I need a new one. Telepath Tower is a network system that uses Empathite for telepathic communication. Nice little design here. You might think, try kick it, but for once it's actually not kick it. It's actually just you drop down onto this part and that lets you hit the switch to lower the drawbridge. Then you do have to go back up again, but that's okay. You'll also notice there was a treasure chest in the north, or actually this is the north. Treasure chest in that corner right there. There we go. We can't get there yet, but don't worry, it won't be too long. Rat monkeys. Probably should actually save. Emulator did crash that one time. I don't want that to cost me a bunch of time again. Alright, let's see. There we go. And that turns the elevators on. In the dungeon theme, you mean? Okay. Time signatures are a girlfriend of mine. No need to apologize. I don't pay a ton of attention to the time signatures, but it is interesting to me. Honestly, I used to pay a lot more to attention to that. Because I used to occasionally write music myself. I haven't done that in years, though. I appreciate music, but it's not like my gift or anything. But I do love that way of putting it. Type signatures are a girlfriend of mine. Teleport gem. Alright. We can go into the elevator here. We go back to the 3rd floor. That is where we can pick up a treasure chest. Love this, by the way. Every Wild Arms game has a radar tool, and it's usually called radar, but Wild Arms 2 was like, no, that's too normal. What are we gonna call it? We're gonna call it the booty call. Because unless you call for booty, which is to say treasure, it doesn't mean anything. What that phrase wouldn't mean anything else, obviously. I don't actually know. Did the term booty call exist in like 2000? I genuinely don't know. I don't think I was aware of it, but I was a child, so like I wouldn't have been. It's very silly. Anyway, it's just a radar. It did? Yeah. The translators of this game were like... they were on something, I don't know. I wouldn't have it any other way, to be clear. Like, there is a part of me that goes, we should have a better translation, and then I'm like, no. There's no such thing as a better translation. This translation is perfect. Booty call and all. The upper part of the Telepath Tower uses Galileo Pulse Empathite at a maximum power of 1429 GP. You can cover all of Filgaia in bad weather. Some regions won't receive the transmission. Interesting to think about, like, this is analogous, obviously, to, like, radio towers and stuff like that from our world, but in the real world, stuff like that has to have machines to pick it up. But Empathite runs on thoughts. It connects one person to another person directly. So how would that manifest if you're broadcasting to, like, large numbers of people all at once? Interesting thing to think about. We'll see what it looks like in just a moment. Quit ganging up on Lilka. God, it's very rude. Is that a play on my name? I got it. And I love this room because, first of all, it's a genuinely fun puzzle, but also, like, diegetically, this makes no sense. This is pure Galaxy Quest. Why is this here? It makes no logical sense. Why would you build a room that's just a ton of switches? And they all move down. It doesn't make sense. And yeah, the answer is no, it doesn't make sense. I don't care. If you want to get that chest up there, you gotta leave and come back, which resets the room. Kick it. Alright. So there's one more room. Okay, here we go. Long cutscene, ahoy. So we've made it up to the top of the tower where the big Empathite communicator is. Maybe that shady looking guy. The guy with the shades. So we gotta see what someone who's hijacking this thing has to say. For all of Filgaia. First, greetings to all corrupt officials who have inherited power with no qualifications. And all the ignorant fools have no qualms about leading degenerate lives. Honestly, this is like the most interesting that this character gets, because like this speech is kind of fascinating from the perspective of analyzing it as a populist slash proto-fascist text. You know, we have on the one hand the populist appeal of going after corrupt officials, followed by immediately, yeah, right? I was on his side with the first thing. It's very populist, where like good and bad points are mixed in, and the only thing I can tell is that they're angry. Because ultimately, Binsfeld doesn't actually have a coherent worldview, which probably is due at least in part because he's not actually the overarching villain of this game. He's the villain of a good chunk of this game, but he's honestly not that interesting of a character. I do find it kind of funny. I said it was kind of right wing populist tinged. Uh, he calls Odessa the Reform Party, which is also the name of the political party in which Donald Trump ran for president in the year 2000, incidentally, bringing that up for no reason whatsoever. Um, but back to the method of transmission that I was talking about earlier. You can see his face reflected on the water in this town. And you can see his face reflected across every reflective surface in the world. The way that Empathite broadcasts is anywhere you would see your face, you instead see the face of the person talking to you on this broadcast, which is a kind of astonishing way of capturing the idea of like telepathic, long range telepathic communication. And you can see people reacting like this is not a normal thing. I don't know how common Empathite actually is in Filgaia, but it certainly is not common for like a huge broadcast to be hijacked like this. But also, among those listening now are traitors. And that is you. Like I said, clearly intent on aggression, but not a lot of consistency of belief. They are impure creatures, yet no one tries to remove them. No one tries to bring peace. And excuse me for a moment. I gotta step away. Alright, we're back. Hi. Sorry about that. We had some issues here at home, but I think we're okay at the moment. Um, and Rachel did want me to continue the stream. Uh, I was having fun. I was enjoying talking to people. I hope people are still there. Um, I was talking to my folks just a moment ago, and they might be stopping by, so I hope they do. But let's go ahead and resume where we were. So I will switch back over to PS1 mode. I did perform a state save, so we can pick right back up where we left off. Oh, good. Looks like Claire is still there. Hi, Claire. Yes, totally unrelated Reform Party. Vinsfeld is broadcasting Odessa's message to all of Filgaia, and apparently when you receive a broadcasted message through Empathite, I like to imagine that like it affects how you perceive things. In this case, we see his image on reflective surfaces. Um, this particular line has stuck with me for all these years. They are impure creatures, yet no one tries to remove them. No one tries to bring peace. Um, Partly just because the comma's in the wrong place. It should be after creatures and before yet. Uh, Another weird thing about translation I learned years later that in Japanese, commas usually go after the conjunction, not before. So that was probably just that order in Japanese, and they just didn't change it in translation, even though English does not work that way. But more importantly, like, this is using fantasy monsters for, like, demagoguery, which is an interesting. It's interesting from the perspective of, like, how would real world political ideologies play out in a fantasy world. Anyway, let's resume the broadcast. We also get to see a lot of locations around Filgaia that we have not seen in the game yet, but will see later, which is neat. This is actually from Loka's hometown, which we won't see for a few more chapters. Always blaming. Always find someone to blame. We've handed the land over to the monsters. How can that be allowed to happen? Incidentally, I mentioned the parallel with Donald Trump earlier, which I think is interesting. It's. I'm not saying this guy was based on Trump. Obviously, that's not the case. This game was written in Japan. I doubt the average Japanese person in the late '90s knew who Donald Trump was. Americans typically knew who he was, but the rest of the world, I don't think, really did. Um, but also, Trump wasn't, despite the Reform Party thing, wasn't actually really a politician at that time. He was just some asshole with a lot of money. Um, and also, this doesn't really like parallel with him very much. Uh, Vinsfeld was a leader in a civil war from a country called Slayheim, and which is where Brad is from originally, and sort of turned that into an opportunity to build a fascist movement. Uh, he was not a capitalist. Yeah, it's just it's a very loose parallel. It's not meant to be an exact thing. But also, a powerful national system will be built by eliminating foolish national boundaries. So he's both pro and anti-nationalism, which is very funny to me. Fundamentally different from statesmen who only bark like dogs at banquets. Riabul's where Ashley is from. Sylvain and Guildgallad are other countries we'll get to see more of later. You can see he's not shying away from the cruelty. There are those who criticize Odessa's acts as extreme. They spout malicious gossip. One thing that just occurred to me about that line is that, like, no one had heard of Odessa before, so is anyone actually criticizing them? I mean, people certainly will in the future after they do a lot of crimes, but, like, at this point, no one knows who they are. The line, there are those who criticize us as extreme, seems more like, making sure you have a predefined enemy. And there we go. Brad did what he does. Kicks it. Oh, the mirrors, glass, and water were all affected by the hijack. For some reason I was thinking that was a mental broadcast. Huh. Or at least that's how I had been thinking about it lately. I guess my perspective on this game keeps changing over time, you know? When I was a kid, I mostly liked it because I liked the battle system, but these days I think about it much more in terms of story. Anyway, random boss. This guy's got more going on than Gaunim, but still fairly easy. Oh, I forgot to restock. Oh well. But just here saying Happy Pride. He does have those rainbows. Or it does. I don't know that I can call that a he. It's just a mysterious phantom being. Anyway, this is why I stocked up on... I made sure Loka had Vortex, by the way. It's his weakness. It's weak. Whatever. Misremembered. I always feel like I know absolutely everything about this game. And then I'm like, no, it's not his claws that are weak to wind, just the body. One down. Still better than regular attacks. make sure my family's over. Oh, distortion. How annoying. Though it does tie in more with Pride. It can heal itself, but not for very much. So, honestly, it's a good idea when it does that, because it's essentially just wasting a turn. That bit of health will come missing, it's bugging me. Think that'll be enough? Yeah, there we go. Okay. Definitely one of the weirder monsters. We've got a bit to do here in Damson before we get to the next dungeon. Just a bit, though. actually. Here's a fun little thing. I skipped right over last time. Who are you? Strange woman in costume. Just perfect to back up Ashley, who sometimes lacks in bravery. So a cute girl like you is in league with Ashley. This person seems to know Ashley. For some reason. You must know that the comets foreboding ill have divided heaven and earth. With the passage of time comes a fragment of eternal time. It exists within you too. And Ashley has the same reaction that we would have to this, which is what? What? I don't... what? I wanted to make sure. Child's pose for death is a band numerous. It sounds like it. Are you referring to how Vegeta looked, or Vegeta looked when it died? Yeah. Yeah, it does sound like it could be a metal band. Alright, wanted to make sure I triggered that conversation, because that's the last chance we have to talk to her before this, obviously. We're in a hurry, catch us next time. Wow, rude. Gullwing class plane flying east. No country has used that type of flying machine since the Slayheim Liberation Army. Who are you? Beware of ultraviolet rays. I'll tell you my face and name from within this protective costume. Pretty sure this is also a mistranslation. She's wearing the costume to protect her from ultraviolet rays because she's a vampire. In all but name. The Wild Arms 2 name for vampires is Crimson Nobles, but they're vampires. She's a vampire. But that doesn't explain how she knows Ashley and some of this other information that she clearly knows. We'll find that out later. You know my name. So we gotta track them down. Time is of the essence, but first, I got a bunch of other stuff I want to do, because time is not actually of the essence. Use that radar. Also, there's an odd little place that we can get to. Let's get something to drink. There we go. I thought Ashley was considered of age. He's 19. What is the drinking age in Filgaia? Just realized I was doing an exact warp line bit. Anyway. Northeast of Damson is a mysterious place. This is just a fun little side area. It's not like a dungeon or anything. Odd headquarters. Welcome to Odd Headquarters. It's convenient. This is just a monster encyclopedia. You can look through all the monsters we've beaten. Later we'll unlock the ability to access that information anywhere. Just let you change characters' names. And we can't get this stuff yet. Obviously there's more stuff you can do later, although this place will only ever really be a curiosity. It's just kind of funny. Alright, let's head over. Mount Chug-Chug is not a long level, but it is an interesting one. Have I completed the encyclopedia? No. No, there is one enemy I have never beaten in this game, which is the hardest of the optional boss fights. Regula, as it's called in this game. Every Wild Arms game has one, and they're always extremely hard. I feel the menace of a monster's howl. This is one of those hidden bosses, by the way. Regula is in a different one. Can't go here yet. But I have beaten everything other than Regula. I couldn't beat it when I was a kid, and then as an adult I've decided I wanted to save Regula for like... I want to make sure there's always something to this game that I haven't explored. At least until I'm old. Oh god, I can't believe I forgot the medicines. I always get distracted by the stuff and the things and all that. Hey. You know what? It wouldn't take too long to go back. Let's go back to Damson. Do this level properly, shall we? I'll do it properly. It'll take longer, but it's fine. This level's pretty short anyway. Work on an equivalent of Breath of the Wild. Trying to photograph all the photographable objects and creatures in the compendium. Yeah, a lot of games have stuff like that. It's fun. Fun to fill out. I thought there was something in here. Okay. No, I did the magic shop. Alright, there we go. Got a photo of a Gerudo weapon by just straight up taking a picture of a very strong lady's abs, and the weapon is typically in the shot. That is extremely you, Claire. Like, I want to do this, but I want to do this as lesbianly as possible. Alright. Another opportunity to kick something. Kick it. Here we go. So we gotta just start up the mine equipment so that we can reach the upper level. So that's over here. Something's stuck in a crack between the equipment. What a beautiful crystal. It's sparkling. If passed through a light, it'll reflect 7 colors on the other side. Like Dark Side of the Moon. Or just the concept of a prism, yes. Marina likes stuff like this. Happy Pride. There's Empathite. We've heard about it earlier in this chapter, but this is the first time we've actually gotten it. Stone that emits an odd light. It's the thing that allows you to transmit thoughts. And in the particular case of Ashley and Marina, it becomes a symbol of their relationship. It's part of the idea that, you know, I think of this game on kind of a spiritual level of like, let me pause so I can think more clearly without the music blasting. In terms of like, it's about the connections between human beings. And Empathite is just a literalization of the basic idea that we are connected to each other by virtue of all being in the same universe. Sometimes I've thought about using Empathite as the name of like a channel or a podcast. Maybe I think someone suggested podcast. Might have been one of you. It's a good name. But more important than that is just the basic principle that, like, People should care about each other. Feels like that's lacking nowadays. Anyway, with the switch working, we should be able to get up to the upper level. This is about the same place in the story as Mount Zenom in Wild Arms 1, and even has some of the same enemies like these Shriekers. But it's a lot shorter and easier than Mount Zenom. And yet, it's also more interesting narratively. And landed on that upper level. Go up again. And here we go. Okay. First time meeting Odessa face to face right here. Now that we've caught up with them. The one-eyed giant who the players saw, he was at Illsvale, but the characters didn't. Yes. The thread told Antinora. Sorry, I'm pretty sure this is another mistranslation. Antinora is another character, we'll see her in a second. She is known as the Thread. So this shouldn't have been a complete sentence. Antinora is the Thread. I don't know. But I also don't know what that nickname was supposed to indicate. It only gets used a couple other times. It's weird. This game is weird. I love it. I haven't introduced myself yet. No, you haven't. Ptolemea, or Ptolemy, or however you, I don't know how to pronounce these names. He and the other members of Finsfeld's Elite Four kind of thing, which is called Cocytus, named after the four rounds of the, I forget the details, but it's from the Divine Comedy. And the interesting thing is that I had assumed at first that that was just like something that the audience is supposed to appreciate, you know, like thematically they're named after the Divine Comedy. But surely the Divine Comedy does not exist in this universe, right? Except later it turns out it does? Or at least the fact that their names are from something comes up later, which is also very strange. I also don't know if these are just supposed to be code names or if they were actually named that. It's the sort of thing that like doesn't make sense on a literal level, but makes sense on kind of a spiritual level, like a lot of this game. Dun, 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 dun. I get enthusiastic about the music because this is the first boss theme that's any good. I don't really like the regular boss theme very much. Most Wild Arms games have better boss themes than this one. This is also the first battle where it's specifically a good idea for Loka to use Mystic, because she can heal everyone at once with heal berries, just like Cecilia could in Wild Arms 1. Although here, heal berries heal more. Yeah, Frozen Lake. Frozen Lake of Hell in 4 rounds, and the rounds are the names that these 4 characters are named after. Ptolemaea, who's the boss I'm currently fighting. He mentioned Antenora, one of the other ones. There's also Kana and Judecca. Judecca's the guy with the glasses, Kana's the one with the giant key. We're the Odessa Special Unit, Ptolemaea and his fun friends. He's such a dork. Don't mess with me. Should we shoot them here on the spot? We got some time to kill until the Barukasasi's up. Judecca's just like, you want me to just kill him? Which is a very Judecca thing to say. And Tenora, on the other hand, seems to have more of a conscience than the rest of them. First thing we hear from her is no senseless killing. Interesting. I wonder if we'll learn more about her. She's one of my favorite characters. We're broadcasting clandestine. Since we didn't have contact, let's at least do some bold propaganda. We do get a brief but extremely cool shot of the warring Veruca's house. Thus ends the chapter. Or rather, there's one other thing. It's all too obvious, but it wasn't only the enemy flying machine that got in our way. The border problem. Even if we had had a plane there, the border would have stopped us. There would have been trouble for violating their airspace. Only outlaws can fly wherever they want, whenever they want. Even though we're doing the right thing, why do things like that get in our way? People live by closing their hearts tight. Walls of the heart become invisible lines which divide the world. This is what borders are. This is what I always think of whenever I hear people talk about, like, securing the border. It's like, what you are talking about there is an invisible line, but more importantly, it is an attempt to separate yourself from other people. That's fundamentally what it is. It's a wall of the heart. And we're better off reaching out to each other than cutting each other off. Like, literally, politically, it makes more sense to cooperate, but also just, like, spiritually, people should take care of each other. Just as hearts are separated, so is one country from another. All we can do is work hard to change what we can. Nationalism is so 19th century. Yeah, unfortunately it is also apparently pretty 21st century. I said that was the end of the chapter, but I do want to get through this little bit. You picked up a pretty stone. It'll just be like, I don't know, 5-10 minutes. Just Ashley getting to give Marina the Empathite. Hey, Ashley, are you and Marina lovers? What are you talking about? Of course not. Okay. Just checking. Why do you ask? Forget I asked. So obviously Ashley and Marina are not currently officially in a relationship, but like everyone can see it. They're perfect for each other. Lilka also has a crush on Ashley, but he doesn't feel the same about her, and he's too old for her anyway. She's just a kid. I mean, Ashley's pretty young too, compared to like me, for instance, but he is an adult. He's 19. Oops. Remember these kids? Tim is head over heels for some girl. I think this was probably mostly just to remind you these characters exist. Love how Scott's just freaking out of the corner there. You came to see Marina. Now hold on a minute. Should have said so, dude. I wouldn't have held you up. No, Ashley's not. He's an adult. Loka is the child soldier. I mean, it was supposed to be her older sister. And she was just like, can I do it? And everybody was like, yeah, sure, whatever. Anyway. There's the Empathite. They say it has the power to transmit thoughts. I do love Marina. I'm not saying this just to make a pun. I'm saying it because it's true. She is very empathetic. Like, they gave her Empathite to literalize that, but it is also true. Anyway, that'll be it for today. Got through all that I wanted to get through. And the moment you try to leave here, it'll start loading the next section. That'll serve as a good introduction next week, so we'll save and quit for now. Thanks everyone for joining me. Thanks again for coming back after that hiccup earlier. I'll try to have this up on YouTube before too long, although it's going to take me a bit to splice the two parts together because I don't remember where I had this stuff. Anyway, don't worry about it. Have a good night, everyone. Bye-bye.